Hey guys, welcome to the Gumboot Garden. I am April and today is going to be our July garden tour. Now, if you are new here, then the garden you're about to see is probably not the garden you are expecting because we are located in Auckland, New Zealand. So that means we are experiencing winter right now. But just because it's winter, it doesn't mean we can't grow things. In Auckland, our winter season is pretty mild, so we don't get all of the snow and the ice and that really nasty weather that a lot of you may get in the winter. Our temperatures don't really dip down below 50 degrees. At nighttime it might get a little bit colder. Every so often we might get a frost, but really not very often. Now I wanted to get this garden tour in because it's going to be a few weeks before you guys actually see me in real time again, because July at the Gumboot Garden is tomato month, which I know seems a little bit weird because we're midwinter and there are no tomatoes growing in my garden. But I do know that many of you are going to start having tomatoes coming in. And over the summer, I had heaps of tomatoes and was able to can them in so many different ways. I think I have like 4 or 5 weeks worth of canning recipes that I wanted to share with you guys. So stay tuned for that. But let's get into this garden tour. Let's start in here with these blueberries. I mean, they have absolutely no idea what season it is. They're flowering. They don't flower until springtime. Like, what's going on, guys? I'm just hoping. Those birds. So, come springtime, I'm just hoping that they're circling over. So come a springtime, I'm actually hoping that they flower again for me. I haven't trimmed them or fertilized them or anything yet in this season. Typically I do in autumn and then in spring again, and I haven't done that yet. But yeah, I'm hoping they flower again so that we get blueberries in the spring, but who knows? I think it's just this one here that is flowering and not sure what season it is. The one I have over on the other side, that one's fine. Then in this first bed here, that is a rogue lettuce plant that has been surviving all through summer and is now coming out and has begun to start flowering. So we should have some lettuce seeds soon. I think that will probably go all over my pathway, which also has heaps of weeds in it. This pathway here was actually all wood chips, and it's breaking down. That's gorgeous soil, and that is just from me putting down wood chips and letting it sit. Once I get a new order of wood chips, we'll scoop this up minus the weeds and toss it into my garden beds or into my in-ground bed that I have over there. But right, back to this bed here. So primarily this bed is just full of lettuce. I have here what I believe is a calendula plant, a few of them mixed in. I have heaps and heaps of coriander here. All of this is coriander. That was all self-seeded. In this other garden bed, heaps of coriander. I have that self-seeded, and we've been eating a lot of that this winter. I haven't even really had to dip into my frozen coriander that I have, so we've been getting fresh coriander. Awesome. But I have a lot of different varieties of lettuce that I've planted here. I also have seeded some a little bit later, so this is a bit of a lettuce mix, and then I have arugula planted over on the other side, or rocket, whatever you want to call it, and then spinach here. Now you might notice I do have netting on top of all of this. That's because for this autumn we had some sort of critter that was crawling all around in all of my beds and just eating everything. So I put netting down over this bed to stop him from eating all of my lettuce, which worked for a lot of it, except for this spinach here. He was still getting at quite hard, but it looks like he's stopped now, so we'll be able to get some spinach pretty soon. At the other end of this bed, I have some carrots that are randomly dispersed in here. I did plant them in nice little rows, but they've decided to just do their own thing, so I don't know how they got like that. I planted parsnips over on that side. They obviously did not come up, so I don't know what the deal with that is. That's the second year I've tried to plant parsnips and have had no luck. I would really love to grow parsnips, but we'll keep trying. We'll try again, and one of these days we'll get some parsnips. But that's pretty much it for that first bed. It's just all lettuce and carrots. So let's move on to this next bed here, which has some little onions that I've started. They aren't growing very quickly, but they have thickened up a little bit, so that's good. In between that, these are not weeds. Well, they're only weeds if you want them to be, but I have some more coriander that has self-seeded. All of these little guys here, they're all over. They are all pansies. And then all along this side, this is where I had all my coriander in the summertime, and I have heaps of it still growing. On the far side of the bed, we have leeks growing, and I absolutely love growing leeks in the winter time. I love eating leeks. So I can't wait. I can't wait until springtime or almost summer comes when we can have a whole massive harvest of leeks, and they'll actually be big enough where we can just kind of pull them and eat them as like creamy leeks or potato and leek soup or with a nice roast dinner. Yum, I love my leeks. And these guys are getting quite big. So this is one of the smaller ones here. When I planted them, they were actually smaller than this, but now I've got some that are actually getting a bit bigger. There is a little bit of thickness to them, and hopefully the next time you guys see them, they will be much bigger. Also in this bed, which I covered so our little critter friend didn't eat them, are cabbages. These are looking really nice and healthy. The leaves are starting to curl in, as you can see on this one. These guys are watermelon radishes. I don't know if they're turning into anything. They don't look like it, do they? But that's what they are. They're watermelon radishes. Honestly, I'm not overly keen on radishes. I grew them my first year of gardening, but I haven't really grown them since. But the watermelon radishes, they look really cool. I don't know if you guys have seen them. I will try and put a picture up here on the screen of what they look like. They're like red in the middle, but like green on the outside, like a watermelon. And I thought they'd be really cool to try and grow. I have them randomly placed in a couple different places, not too many of them, but none of them are bulbing up into radishes yet, so I don't know if they're going to grow. That's okay. At the end of this bed, I have this massive lemongrass plant. It really needs to be harvested. It has some good stuff in there. It has some dead stuff as well. I've had it for a couple years and I've never harvested from it. And a part of the reason for that is because I have no idea how to do a big harvest from it. I know that if you just want a little bit for a tea or something, or for a curry, you can just kind of pull off what you want, yank it right from the bottom by the roots and pull it out. But to do a full seasonal harvest, I don't know. I think you have to actually take it out of its pot, pull out what you want, and then repot it, but I'm not 100% sure. If I do end up harvesting from it this winter, I will do a video on it and share it with you guys, because maybe there are some of you out there who are the same as me and just, you have it, you want to use it, but you have no idea how. Once I teach myself how to do that, I will then teach you. But moving on from this lemongrass, we can go over to this bed here where we have a few beautiful, beautiful things growing. It looks like someone got into this though. Wait, what is that? Oh, that's a pepper. Okay. I thought that was garlic. This is all garlic. So this is growing really, really well. I planted this a month earlier than I normally do because garlic is actually meant to be, have like just been planted a few days ago or a week ago. I think the shortest day of the year. I have tried to do that for multiple years and have had really bad luck with it. It grows really beautifully like it is now, and then come later in the season with all of the rain and the cold and whatever, it ends up getting rust. So I happen to be on a like New Zealand gardening Facebook page and saw that people were saying, oh, plant it early. If you plant it early, then you're not going to get rust like you would if you plant it when they actually say to plant it. So that is what I have tried. We have planted it early this year, and at the minute, knock on wood, it looks beautiful. So I'm hoping that it stays just as healthy as it is right now. This is a hardneck variety that I have here, but I have also planted a few elephant garlics. So I don't know why they're all such different sizes, which is weird. Actually, I feel like this one came up last. And how is it the biggest? Maybe that's not true. Maybe it had to have been this one that came up last. But anyways, all 4 have sprouted that I have. That one is already looking really nice and big. I mean, I put them in way later than I put these regular garlics in. If that grows well for me, I will use about 3/4 of it, well, 3 of them, and save one of them to plant again for next year, because it was like $10 or something at the garden store for just 4 bulbs. So I need to make sure to save my own if it comes out well. Same thing with the regular garlic. I'll do the same. The regular garlic that I have here, the hardneck, that I actually bought as organic New Zealand garlic from the grocery store. So hopefully everything just keeps growing as it is. Hope there's no rust this year and I get a nice little garlic harvest. In this bed, I also have 2 sugar rush peach plants. Now this one was actually in the bed we were in last, in that second raised bed. I have just pulled it out and transplanted it here, and it's fine. This is the one that was just really large that I got so many peppers from, and that is also fine. It even looks like it has some new growth on it, which is strange because it's winter, but it has started to lose its leaves, so pretty soon it will become completely dormant. I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm pretty sure that sugar rush peach, that large one, will overwinter just fine, and I will end up trimming a little bit of it back come springtime, once the rain has kind of stopped and we're not getting as much rain, and then it should just regrow quite quickly and be just as lush, if not more lush, than last year. These poor guys, on the other hand, though, can you even tell that this is even a garden bed? No, because look at the amount of weeds and everything in there. The peppers are just dead, so they have peppers on them that never really fully ripened the way that they should. I am hoping, though, this is my Thai chili. I am hoping that I can save this for next year. I didn't actually get any peppers off of it. I mean, I could probably take some of these, but they didn't really fully ripen the way that they should have. It was a little bit too late in the season. So I'm hoping that this year I can get some out of them if it survives. I'll probably try to plant up some new Thai chili plants this year, but my peppers this year, my chilies, I'm going to try and plant much earlier, before my tomatoes. I think I did them around the same time as the tomatoes last year. I'm gonna do them probably in August, and I just need to sort out a way to keep them nice and warm until it gets warm here, or warm enough here where it doesn't stunt their growth. Peppers do like 50-degree temperatures or higher, preferably higher, but anything below 50 degrees Fahrenheit will usually stunt their growth a little bit. The warmer, the better. They love warmth, so I want to try and give that to them so we can get nice big peppers this year, because the past couple years my peppers just have not grown well, partially because of my fault, partially because of, well, this terrible garden bed, which I guess would also be my fault. I digress. This whole bed here needs to be redone. All the roots started to show. Because this is on a hill, the soil just washed away. So on many of them, the soil just washed away, they tipped over, and just not good things happened. We have a random Cape gooseberry bush in here. All right, on to what I normally call in the springtime, the tomato bed. So in this first section of the bed, I still have many of my peppers. So again, I have this covered because, well, the critter was getting in here and eating my cabbages and broccolis and things. But in here, I still have a lot of my peppers. So these are jalapenos. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them. They weren't the most lush things. We'll try and grow them next year. If they don't grow well, I do have some that are still here. I also have, I don't even know what this is. I think it's either cauliflower or broccoli. I have tons of self-seeded calendula. There's more of these watermelon radishes in here. Now in winter, the sun in the garden is completely different than it is in the spring and summer. In the winter, in the garden, we get a lot less sun. There's always like afternoon, evening sun if the sun is out and it's not too cloudy or rainy or whatnot. But there are a lot of places that get really shaded out. So the first bed that I showed you with all of the lettuce and the carrots, that gets very little sun during the winter months. And over here in part of this tomato bed, I found out last year actually, this doesn't get very much sun either. The bed behind me actually shades out the little sun that it gets during the day. So it gets a couple hours in the evening, but yeah, this bed here shades out this side. So that is why my watermelon radishes here are so much smaller than they are in that other previous bed. But again, these watermelon radishes aren't plumping up at all either. This is another one of the pathways that I had covered with wood chips that is looking really nice, beautiful, beautiful soil that we can put into our garden bed. This didn't have weeds in it, but it looks like it's now getting tons of something. I mean, I don't know. These look like they could be tomatoes or something. I'm not sure. These I definitely know are weeds here. But this month that we're doing the tomato month, I am going to be out in the garden doing lots and lots of work. I have a big list of things that I wanted to accomplish over winter, and this will be the best month for me to do that. So that is one of the jobs I need to do, is scrape up this nice soil, put down fresh wood chips. I also have peas. My peas have grown and I need to trellis them up. They are actually starting to grow where, oh, they really are now. Last I was out here checking them, they were like just barely reaching, but they do reach now. So after I'm done chatting with you guys, I need to come out and put up all these peas so they can start producing for me. So that's exciting. It did take a couple of rounds for me to get these peas going this year, and they have definitely grown, but they're just all growing to the side. As we move down to this third section, I mean, look how lush and beautiful that is. Those are peppers. Those are green peppers that I have done nothing with. They were not growing well this summer because they were shaded out, and now they're beautiful. We have actually gotten a lot of late peppers from this garden, but I mean, if you look in here, there's like heaps of baby peppers. I don't think they'll grow now into anything much bigger than that, but I mean, we're still getting flowers. We're still getting flowers and peppers, and it is almost July. So again, I don't want to jinx anything, but it looks like we have a really nice start on some green peppers already this year that are going to fully overwinter and start producing straight away. So we just need to make sure it doesn't get too cold between now and October. Here's to hoping. Usually July and August are our coldest months. So here I am bragging about how nice our winter has been, and it might actually hit us real soon. So We'll see. I'll update you again. Remember, I will update you again in August after our tomato month, and hopefully we have all good things to say. In these pots, which appear to be empty, these are my rhubarbs. I would like to actually get them planted into the ground this year because they don't really do much in those pots, and I think they'll be a lot healthier out of the pots. In here, these are horseradish plants, and horseradish plants are like in the ground too, amongst all these weeds. I do need to harvest them. Last year I harvested out of one of those pots and made myself some little horseradish sauce. It wasn't the creamy kind, it was the other kind that I just love putting on like cheese and crackers. This year I think I will try to make both, the creamy and the non-creamy. The non-creamy one is so easy, but I just need to get out here and harvest some. In this tire that I typically plant flowers, which as you can see, I had dahlias in here, which are going to self-seed themselves, and I have tons of weeds. But amongst these weeds that are growing, I have this. Now what is this? This, to me, looks like it's garlic. I may be wrong, and I don't want to pull it up. This may be the biggest bulb of garlic that I grow this year, or that I have ever grown. So, and it's self-seeded. I have no idea how it got there. We are going to turn around and I'm going to show you this in-ground section that I have. There are so many weeds in this. I did weed this out in autumn, but I have not touched it since. And the grass just grows like crazy in here. So ignore the weeds. There are other things in here. I have these poor onions. Now, these onions they didn't bulb up. I struggle to get onions to bulb up. But what I have been doing with them is actually cutting some of the tops off. So as you can see here, I cut the tops off, and we have actually been using them in meals like a spring onion. So that has been going really well. Come springtime, I'll pull them, but until then, we're just gonna let them keep doing them. And then here I have my beautiful globe artichokes that started off as one plant and have now turned into 3. They just keep spreading, which is awesome. That means we'll get more artichokes every season. So that's really good because at the minute I have 2 artichoke plants. I originally had 3. Only one of them right now is lush and beautiful. I don't know why, but they tend to grow at different times. It will be nice once this artichoke spreads a bit more so that we can get enough artichokes for everyone to have an artichoke for dinner. Right now they just kind of come in one at a time, and I can't really do much with them. Underneath this netting, we have beautiful, beautiful things happening. I actually don't want to uncover it because it has done a fantastic job at keeping the critters off of it and the bugs. So, but it will need to be sorted out soon because as you can see, this is a cauliflower and it's just getting smushed underneath there. So I need to sort that out soon. But I think you can see how beautiful things are growing. Oh my God, this is like the best growing things I have in the garden right now. I have some cabbages growing. These are much, much bigger than the ones that are elsewhere in the garden. I find that all of these cold weather crops do fantastic in this in-ground bed, and honestly there isn't much that does well in this in-ground bed. Last year my Swedes were huge, my beets did really well. This year my cauliflower and my cabbages are just fantastic. So I have a lot of luck putting in my winter crops in ground in this like clay-ish soil that we have here in Auckland. Behind this netted area, I had, I don't know, 6 to 10 broccolis planted back there all along that side, and then I had more up along here. Half of them are gone because of that critter, but we are lucky enough to have a couple that are starting to grow back. This looks like it is a cabbage. We have a broccoli here that is growing. So that's nice that some of these did come back. And hopefully, even though they're small, hopefully we'll just have to harvest them later. Even this guy looks like he's trying so hard to come back. I don't think that we'll get anything from him. or this poor guy. But a couple of them we will definitely, I think, be able to harvest from. I need to show you guys one more thing underneath that covered area that I just noticed. I'm not sure if you can identify this plant, but I sure can. That is a tomato plant. They're everywhere in here. I mean, there's heaps of weeds, but there are, how many can I count? 1, 2, 3. I know I saw more. There's 4, 5, 6. Weird. We're gonna come over here. I have some potatoes growing. They're doing really well at the minute. The only thing is with my potatoes in the winter time, they typically get hit with quite a bit of wind and rain, and they die off pretty early. So I usually don't get much of a potato harvest in winter time, but I like to just keep it going, because then I don't have to keep buying potatoes from the store. I just use what I have from the previous season to replant again. This season I actually just had a whole bunch of like little ones left, and I chucked in so many into those 2 containers, way more than I should have. So the potatoes that will come out, even if they do grow well, will still probably be small, but I just chucked them all in there and thought, we'll just see how they go. But let's head over to the vineyard garden and see what's going on there. On the way over to the vineyard garden, I just want to show you this section. This section is always a mess, but this is where I had all of my Cape gooseberries, and they are still there. They're all still alive. The one over here, it's beautiful. Look at it, it's growing beautifully. It even has some capes on it. It has lots of capes on it, actually, if I'm looking at it. The rest of them aren't looking as lush, but they are still alive. They do all have them on it. What is going on this year? Wow, what is going on? Is it winter here or what? I'm beginning to think it's spring. So this has never happened. I've grown Cape gooseberries for a few years now, and yes, they do grow nice and big and are healthy in the winter time. Usually if they're first season Cape gooseberries that I plant in autumn, these typically, if they're going on their second season, they will die off during the winter and then regrow in spring. Like, these are all still alive and they're flowering. They all are producing fruit. Like, what is going on here? I'm not complaining. I am 100% not complaining, but this is just a really, really weird season where everything seems to be quite confused as to what season it actually is. So, yeah, the Cape gooseberries have a million different fruit setting on them. We're heading over to the vineyard garden now. There's not much going on over here. It's just where I planted flowers. The grapes should have lost their leaves by now, unless they're also producing grapes. Who knows at this point? Who knows? Right, so let's get in here. Well, at least the grapes look normal. They have lost their leaves. I do need to prune them and get them sorted. These guys in here, they didn't do well last year, but I am so tempted to put down wood chips around the rest of them still, because I have a feeling that this year they will do fantastic because the mulch is breaking down. I have a feeling. And it just keeps the weeds down, and it looks so much nicer when there's fresh wood chips in there. My strawberries, I still have done nothing with. They need to be uncovered. They need to be weeded. They need all the dead bits taken out. But again, like my strawberries on the deck are flowering as well. Look there's flowers in there. There's a few of them. And they're still producing flowers, or strawberries, which is really weird. Like, look, here too. Like, what are you guys doing? It's winter time. Oh, I absolutely love calendula. Look how beautiful that is. calendula is just so beautiful. I love it. And it does need to be tidied up back here, but look how big this one is. That is it for our July garden tour. Don't forget to stay tuned for all of my tomato preserving videos that are coming up in tomato month here at the Gumboot Garden, and I will catch you real soon. See you guys.